battle is brewing on Wall Street. One of Wall Street's top dogs is threatening to take a giant of investment banking to court in a potential $100 million legal brawl. He has got my attention. Charlie Gasparino is here with more on this exclusive story.
What is this? Michael Kramer, probably the best restructuring expert in the business. What do restructuring experts do? They go into bankruptcies. They try to fix the companies. And it's a very lucrative line of business on Wall Street. Michael Kramer is one of the best in the business. He had worked at Perella Weinberg until February, until he was fired. The company fired him. Joe Perella runs the company over an employment dispute, saying that he went out and violated his employment contract by seeking other work, essentially to go out on his own. Then they put out a memo. The memo was very interesting. Rarely do you see Wall Street firms, when they whack somebody, put out a memo. And in that memo, they basically said what I told you right now. That memo was soon leaked to the press. What Kramer is contemplating as he tries to get some back pay compensation, something close to $100 million for him and his team that were all fired, four of them altogether, is he's saying that not only were they improperly terminated, that they were defamed in that memo. That what was put in that memo was patently false. They did not violate their employment agreement. They did not. They did not do all the bad stuff that Mr. Perella and Mr. Weinberg said they did. And Bob Steele, who's the CEO of Perella Weinberg,
now they're going to have to prove that they didn't say all
now here's the
stuff.
thing.
Wow.
They're in settlement negotiations right now. But I do know that from people close to his legal team, one of the things they are threatening Mr. Perella and Mr. Weinberg and Bob Steele, who, as I said, is the CEO. Bob Steele used to run Wachovia Corp. Used to be a deputy mayor for Mike Bloomberg. He was also he also worked on Wall Street at Goldman Sachs for many years. One of the things that they're threatening is that memo, that the contents of that memo were essentially false. False and malicious, you know,
and leaked,
and defamed, and that defamed him, and and leaked. So we'll see where we go. I think the next sort of week or two, we're going to get some clarity as to whether Mr. Kramer goes forward with the suit, which will say he was unfairly terminated, that Perella Weinberg owes him back pay of, between $70 and $100 million. And whether, on top of that, he sues him for defamation for that memo. We should point out that the memo went through Wall Street, was a huge topic of conversation on Wall Street. Not only because
a huge topic anywhere, Charlie. I mean, the fact that the circumstances you're describing could be anybody in any company
and these are big
that's
players.
Fired.
And these are big players. Joe Perella is one of the deans of the investment banking business. He's been doing investment banking since 1970s, worked at First Boston. Wasserstein Perella, head of Morgan Stanley's investment banking. So this guy is the real thing, and he's created a fairly good firm, which has some issues right now, which I would suggest if you want to see the whole thing, go to foxbusiness.com and get my story. And on top of that, you got Michael Kramer, who might be the best restructuring guy around. One of the best. He's definitely in the starting outfield of the all-star team of restructuring outfits. So you're pitting these two sort of big players, and that memo was very interesting. Like I said, I've never seen a memo like that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you, it just blew me away. It was pretty. You just generally don't put that out.
Yeah.
But we'll see if it. I don't know. I'm not saying it crosses the line into defamation.
Right.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm just telling you that
to court over it.
I've not seen something like that.
Foxbusiness.com to read the full.
Yes.
I think anybody should read that to see what potentially could happen to you. You never know.
Yes.